Good morning. Happy Wednesday. And of course, the first day that I'm supposed to be streaming. Uh, the first correct day to stream today? I don't know. It's early morning and my thoughts are still jumbled a little bit, but that doesn't mean we can't get started. I hope you all are having a great middle of the week. Let's see what we got here. So, a whole bunch of old security things. I've just been going and archiving all my old repositories and turning off the security notifications for it. That's the appropriate way to handle those, right? They're like practice repos that I wasn't even using. It was when I was first learning web development. But we were going to take a look at Katali's pull request today. Sort of see what this file structure looks like and how we like it. So let's see. Code. So this is pull request number 20. All right, so for pull request number 20, let's go ahead and check out this code. And now we're in the branch for this. So there's a lot of file changes here, and what Katali is doing is trying to set up the project to be a little bit better with I guess like scaling the number of developers for us. So we have right now a single maybe let me exit review mode and then we'll show what it is that we're doing first. Can you exit? Okay, I'm in master. Okay, so we've got a bunch of examples, and these examples serve kind of like tests, like integration tests for us. They allow us to like actually run the code, show off how it's going to work, all that great stuff. Under source, we have our main library. We have an empty folder color. I don't know if that's like left over from the checkout or if that's actually there. But we have this main library here, and all of the code so far is in this single file. And we had early on a couple of merge conflicts, unsurprisingly, because everybody's just adding functions to this one file. And Katali decided to go out and research what other popular crates are doing, and then he came up with this this idea of breaking it out into smaller, more modular files. That way, if you're adding something to that, like if you're adding a random color, for example, that will be in like the color file, and everything comes together at the end and gets compiled together in the single utility class. But besides that, it's not really like that. It's just different files for editing as opposed to using, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's check out his code. I think it was this one. Or not, apparently. Wait, you can. Okay, so my VS Code decided not to actually show me all what's going on. Okay, so I am in this PR. If I go into source, yeah, okay, here we can see all these different files. So you're not showing me correctly. Let me try quitting VS Code and restarting again. Ah, that works, except I did it inside the source directory. Yeah, here we go. So now we have our main library, and this is all that's in it. So we're just bringing in GGEZ and Rand, and then making them public, so like passing them through. We're also bringing in palette here and making this available for everyone. And then these are all the mods, all of the modules that we're making available, like so color, mesh, run, and utils. Then we're bringing in sort of like the tests here. And so this is like the big sort of hang up is like, what are we going to do with these tests? Do we want to leave them in the individual files or whatnot? So let's go take a look at some of these. I don't know what that is doing there. So in color, so in tests, we have these individual test files that are bringing in colors and then testing them. So I guess like my big concern and like what I would prefer is these type of unit tests. They're only like testing one single function. They're not integration tests. So I don't think they go in their own folder. I think they should go at the bottom here. But besides that, like this looks really good where we can have, okay, here's, if we decide I want like a random red, or I don't know, we could figure out some like other colors that we can create in. That's where these can go. Let's see. Yeah, meshes. So like create circles, create rect, create square, and then for example, we can then create like random shapes too. The run function. Oh, interesting. We have run dim and run. I'd have to look at like, okay, what is dim doing differently? But I'm not really like paying attention to like exactly what each of these functions are doing right now, but more of the general structure. So color, main library, the meshes, the run command, and the utils. And so this is where yes, this is where we have the random location. And this also might be the way we do it, like instead of normal tests, we could also change this over to be this style. Because if I remember correctly, if we compile this and these don't run, then it will fail. I think that the test would fail. Okay, so we have you. Where was our Okay, I think that's all pretty standard. So what this means, if we take a look at the examples, are they using the new system? Yeah, so we could see, okay, use BB GGEZ mesh create circle. So it's bringing in create circle this way and random dark colors. That way we can create it through here. So in some ways, I think our test could probably be changed. And instead of just using these type of unit tests, we could use these type of document tests. But that's it's a question to have in here. So let's go ahead. Okay, so I'm wondering what everyone thinks about viable clan member. Good morning. Hello. Do I know systems operations? I know, like, I guess it depends upon which type. Like, this is pretty huge field. I know some operation stuff. All right, so I'm gonna comment on that. We're getting really close. Like, I think we're pretty much the point where it's just figuring out these, like, the last tests, and then we can merge this in. And I'm thinking that as soon as we change the file structure over to be more friendly to, like, lots of people developing on this, then we can make this a 1.0. You've got a client where 60% of the PCs cannot submit an AJAX post to your server, but the other 40% can. Oh no. Yeah, that kind of stuff really sucks. Do you control everything on all the PCs? Like, are they your PCs that you're like that, like, you built and you control the software on, or are they like the client's PCs? And so, oh no. Okay, so that's, yeah, they have their own ops teams. Yeah, so I've seen this a couple different times. Sometimes it's due to, like, firewall rules, sometimes it's due to weird DNS problems, sometimes it's due to patches and, like, different states of everything. So it's really, really hard to tell. Um I guess, like, without, you're gonna have to dig in to, like, each of those PCs to see, like, if there's patterns about why. So, like, find one of them, do a full debug, figure out, like, why it isn't doing, and then check to see if the other ones are caused by the same exact problem. And if they are, then you have a solution. And if they're not, then one potential thing that comes to mind is if it's like a firewall rule or, like, a weird DNS thing where they're blocking your servers, maybe you can convince their ops teams to let you set up a proxy server on their on site, and that they can all hit that, and then that goes to your servers. But yeah, if you don't have control, that's a really, like, tough situation to be in. Well, good luck. That, yeah. Let us know if you're able to figure that out. I feel that, like, that's the reason why everybody's moving to cloud, is because, like, control. It's so much easier to control things. All right, so that's that. We don't have anything else notification wise for me to take a look at. I don't think so. Nothing new in here. So let's continue on with our Nature of Code ecosystem project. I'm gonna come out of here. Let's quit You ATD, good morning. Hello. Brooks build. So we're going to go into nature of code, the ecosystem project, and open up code here. And so I forgot to update the README project from yesterday. So let's go ahead and see what we did and where we are. So we begin with a walker. This is on like the new refactored code as well. We also set the walker to not starve quite as quickly, so it has a chance of finding food now. And it well, and the food is being created like on a time interval. It's like actually seconds instead of ticks. Oh, and we can make this change the size of everything. Okay, so I think we're using BBGG easy properly. Less poison, more food. I think we've kind of got that. Implement window resizing. Add 4 space walkers. So we haven't done that. So I think that's going to be our next, the next thing we do. A 4 space walker. And I've got one idea for this, which is the walker chooses a target, and then it basically has forces towards that target constantly, just like what we did with the attraction, sort of like a planetary attraction. And so if we start in a random location and this is it, then it'll just come straight to here. But of course, I'm not going to have it slow down. So it's going to hit here at full speed, keep on going, choosing the target, and then have to like swing around to get it. So eventually it's going to get a very interesting sort of moving around, much different than the random walker. It'll be much faster, but it will also not be that different either. It'll probably hit a lot of other things. So let's begin seeing what we can do to implement that. So I'm thinking that we have our attraction walker. So I'm thinking, yeah, so it's going to be attracted to the food. What did we do so far for it? Oh, you know what? I think it's not being rendered to the screen properly. So we create a new one. Its location is up here in the top left. Let's see what we got. All right, it's not gonna be there. It's gonna be our walkers. Oh, mod. There it is. Okay, so we're gonna create. So we have our create walkers. We're clearly creating this walker. We're also creating the attraction walker and throwing it in here. Now we have an iterator for these walkers. That way in the main library, we can just iterate through the walkers and then get each of them out. So I think it might be interesting to see, are we really iterating through them, or are we iterating through just the first one and we're ignoring the other ones? I'm guessing that this iterator, so we hit it, we get the current iterator index, Then we increment that by 1. And then we say, okay, are you now greater than or equal to the length? I think that should be fine. You know, I'm kind of thinking of adding a name attribute to them, make that public, and then I could log out what the name is, and that might help me like know, okay, is it really being hit by this by here? So let's do that. So in a traction walker, in our struct, let's have a name, and this we'll just do a. I'll just do a string. I think. I mean, because I could also do a stir like that. Does it have to be a reference? Oh, okay. So it's, yeah, let's just do string because we have to clone it. Okay, so we're going to have name and a string from, and our string is going to be a traction walker. And we want to do this exact thing to the random walker too. Oh, don't forget, make this a public name. Ah, my tea is here. Thank you. Too hot to drink right now. Okay, so then we have, we make that public, and random walker, we're going to do the same thing. So pub name is a string. And so here we'll just do the string from, and then we'll say this is a random walker. Now in the main library, we want to say where are we looping through? Okay, so for we're getting the mesh and location in self-walker's clone. I also want to get the name. And so here I'm just going to do the debug command and throw in the name. But that of course means that in our mod, we have to return our walker died of starvation. Okay. So type, this is going to be mesh and vector, and then also we're going to do a string. So an option string. And so here and here, we're going to have walker dot name. I think that will make that happy. This function takes one parameter, but two parameters were provided. Wait, really? Oh, oh, okay, this needs to be to the left. Oops. Okay, so you come here. There, I misread where my parentheses were. That's why we're not supposed to use tuples too much. Missing field name and initializer of walkers. Oh, missing the comma. Okay, so no errors, just a bunch of warnings. Let's go ahead and run this again. I'm going to use my big screen here. Cargo run, and that way we can see those the printings, the debug prints. Yeah, so all I'm seeing is random walker. Oh, and if I go high enough, it won't even show me anymore because it's too many. Let me try doing this again. I'm going to pipe this some more. And immediately quit it. Wait a second. You didn't pipe in. Yeah, so only the random walker. Nothing else is being printed out for us. Okay. Okay, so our iterator is broken. So let's decide what we have here. We have mod walkers. Here's our iterator that we've implemented for the walkers. We know it's working because we are iterating through it, but it's not working fully because we're not getting all of the walkers, just one of the walkers over and over and over again. We reset it to 0. Okay, so we believe that the length is going to be 2. Unless it's like reporting as dead immediately. So we're implementing walkers. Here's a new function. We create an empty vector. When we update, okay, so we have then this create walkers function. When does that run? It doesn't seem to run. Okay, so in library, okay, so we have this self is first tick, and then we create the walkers. So we're doing that because of the way we're setting things up with our BBGGEZ extension library. Okay, so theoretically at this time we should have 2 walkers. If I, right after this, run a debug, so I'm gonna take you out. I guess I'll leave you in, but I'll comment you out. We'll verify it later when we can see like the other name in there too. So I'll underscore use so I don't add to our warning problem. So here's our first tick. I want to now do the debug command on self.walkers walkers. And that's not public, is it? No. So let's fix that. Cannot move out of self walkers, which is behind immutable reference, and line 47. Oh, interesting. Okay, so wait, lib 47. The debug moves it out? Huh. Can I just get a reference for it? Type walker's walker is private. Oh, okay. So all the types. I wonder if I just add like a print, like a quick print function in here. So print walkers. I'm just gonna like do this as a quick debug here. Let's so debug takes ownership. I'm kind of sad by that. So if I do that, it's still gonna take ownership, isn't it? Yeah, it cannot move out. Now, can I give it a reference to the walkers? Yes, okay. So I can do that. Then back in here, what is it? Print walkers. Okay. Private type walker in public interface. Oh, okay. So because I was trying to make that public, I don't think I have to anymore. Okay, so this happens on the first run. We now see here's our walkers, and we have the random walker and the attraction walker. So we see that we have both of them in here. So the new, like creating the new one and initializing it is fine. And that should mean that the length of walkers is 2. So I'm cloning self.walkers. You know what might be really nice here is to debug. That's I don't need you anymore. I've verified that we have 2 of you. In here. So I haven't figured out or looked through like what kind of step through like really debug tools that I have access to besides like printing with Rust. It might be really nice to like set up some kind of system where I can like run and step through and look at the values of everything. I have no idea if VS Code's debug system would allow me to do that. I haven't tried. So let's do this before. Let's maybe right at the beginning. Nope, not there. Here. Let's run a debug of self.iterator index. And can I also do another one in here? Can I also say self.walkers.length? I can, okay. Okay, so starting with 0, length is 2, then 1, and length is 2. So like the first one, the second one, the first one, the second one. So that seems to be appropriate. We're getting the first and second, first and second, first and second, all the way through here. Okay. That's good. What walker do we have? So if I come down here and we get the current, so we've cloned the current walker and we get that out. What if I say debug for me the current walker dot name? No field name on type walker's walker. Ooh. Current walk. Oh, right, because that's actually the enum here. Oh, okay. So like it's an enum that we got out, not the actual thing. So I can't really get the name. I wonder, can I just debug current walker and just see what it is? Right, because it keeps on trying to take ownership of it. So we'll get a need to have like a bit to quit after like the first 2 frames or so. Like just panic after ticks 2, that might actually be worth it. Panic after like the second tick, right? So in library, in update, self is first tick. Oh, interesting. Is first tick. Oh, okay. So a trick that I can do here is I can say, okay, else, because it would not be the first tick anymore, so this would be the second tick. Then I just want to panic. Panic, not first tick anymore. Very, very silly, but hopefully Rust will, yeah, it will let me do this. Then it'll just run one full loop through, and I should get these this printout, and just 2 of them. So here's our random walker. And then here is the second printout, the attraction walker. So we're getting both of them here. So first random, then second attraction. So that's perfect. That's exactly what we want. We increment the index. If so, this is all working. Here, I think this is not what it's working. We're matching off of the current walker. We're extracting out whichever one of these it is. And then we're returning a sum, so an option, walker.mesh, the location, and the name. I mean, I think that it should be working, but I clearly am not doing this correctly. Now the other idea that I had was, instead of doing this entire iterator here and then drawing it in the main library, is what if I did bring back this draw function and it actually does the draw itself. And so it could loop through the walkers and then draw them. I kind of wonder, since I'm not really getting anywhere with debugging this, let's try this. Let's bring back draw. We know we want a mute self. We know we're gonna need the context. I'm not sure exactly what else we need. I'm not going to... I don't know if I need to return anything. Maybe a game result. We'll sort of see what we have here. So instead of returning the meshes for it to draw, we're going to run the draw command directly. So we need access to graphics here. So ggz, graphics. I don't need mesh. I guess I just need graphics. Let's loop through the walkers. So for walker in. Okay, so far, one error. Oh, I needed to stop trying to iterate through it here. I'm just going to comment that out to make that go away. And now what are you yelling about? Cannot move. Okay, so now I want a reference for this. I could also clone it. And that might be like the answer for this, is just to clone the walkers. Okay, so for walker and walkers, we want to draw out. So we're going to need to match on these walkers. So we want to match walker. So if this is a walker, random walker, we want to graphics draw. So we need this context. We need the drawable reference to that. So that's the walker.mesh. And then the parameters of where it's going. So that's going to be the location. So we need a 0.22. Like that, I think. Okay, yeah, so I'm not returning anything. It's returning a result so far. Okay, so it's returning the game result. So we should probably return that. So that's under here. Mismatch types. Expected enum standard result. Found that. Okay. Oh, right, because I'm not returning from in here. Okay, so yeah, let's just... That would be the equivalent of them just saying, okay, like that. Non-exhaustive pattern. I'm not sure I want to just do like return an okay like that, like we do in like the update function. Let's add the second one in here. So this is gonna be our walker, attraction walker. Okay, so you're not completely unhappy with that. So let's try this. Yeah, I'm not sure I need this game result at all. Because if this crashes, it's just gonna crash. I don't really have any option of handling that. So I think I'm gonna just have this not return anything. We're gonna draw out. I don't need this game result. In the main library, we need to call draw on it. So in our draw function, we're going to say self.walkers.draw. Pass it in context. No errors. Let's see what we got. Oh, I should probably stop it from crashing after the second on the second frame. That would be a little helpful. And there we go. We've got the second, the attraction walker here now too. So the answer seems to be to have that draw function, like the iterator. We're doing something wrong with that, and that's it's not giving us like what we expect it to give, which is a little bit sad. So for right now, this is what I'm gonna do. Maybe as I learn more, we can fix that up. So until then, we do need to get this this moving. Also, the other thing is I haven't verified that this walker can still eat properly after everything that we did. So while we keep an eye on that, let's get this guy moving. So in the attraction walker, we're gonna need a target. Oh yeah, see, I think it passed right over the poison. Maybe it didn't exist yet. And like nothing happened. So I think maybe we broke the eating part. Yeah, that felt like it stayed exactly the same size. It ate the food, but it didn't change size. Yeah, okay. So that's another problem too. So we have to fix in random walker. Katali, hello. Self.eat the food. So it's kind of eating the foods. Oh, you know what? We cap the size, don't we? Self.max size. But the max size is much larger than this, isn't it? It's 25. And we're beginning with 10, I believe. What have you missed? Well, we went through your pull request at the very beginning. And then I left a comment on that. Then we sort of debugged our iterator to see why our other walker wasn't showing up, and I ended up giving up with the iterator, the custom iterator, and moving with just a draw function in the walkers module. And now I'm trying to figure out. I realized that these the random walkers aren't actually eating. I mean, they're taking the food and removing it, but they're not absorbing the they're not getting bigger. So I somehow broke that. So if we take a look at what we got here. In the random walkers, we have eat. It takes in this list of foods. We determine that if like the edge of us is over the middle point of the food, and if it is, we increase our size by the calorie amount in the foods. And so we have our size here. Oh, you know what? Okay, so this is the problem that we're having, is that our size, when we create the mesh ahead of time and we're storing that, that includes the size here. So our size actually is going up and down. But the so the size is going up and down. The problem is that the it's we're not drawing that out. So that the eating part is fine. It's the draw that's not. And I want to check to see what in GGEZ. We need that draw function. So there's this params. I need to know what I'm allowed to do in the params there. Okay, so we can scale this. I think this is what we want, to scale it. The XY scale factor is expressed as a vector too. And right now it looks like it's the draw params are just a tuple. Perhaps, yeah. It might be best as a separate issue. To sort of like move those in there. I just wanted like people's thoughts first. Because like if we do want to like go with that way with the comments, so like have the tests be more, have like the actual unit tests be more of the just the document tests, and that way they're right with the code, then pretty much we're ready to go, and then we can create issues to migrate those tests away, and we just won't bring those tests in. Like we'll just create issues for each of those tests. Okay, so this is a struct draw param. I can create a new. Oh, interesting. So new just gives us self default. These are all pubs, so I can set them separately. An offset from the center for transform operations like scale rotation with 0 meaning origin. Wait. Okay. Offset scales. All right, I feel drop param. What's that off? Drop param is in graphics. So if I replace this this tuple, so in this mod walkers, in this draw function, why are you so upset? Result that must be used. Oh, yeah, okay. We need to unwrap. Is it unwrap or is it the other one? It's unwrap. Okay, so we're handling the error by just crashing if it doesn't draw correctly, which I mean we would want it to crash anyways, so I think that should be fine. I guess I could do this like return the result and then I can do the question mark operator here. But I think this is fine. Just crash right here. So here's this params. What would happen if I create this here? So if I just say like let my params equals graphics draw param new, and then I update the draw params. So you need to be mutable. So our params dot, and now I want to set the position. Okay, so we're gonna do the destination first. This is gonna be our point to from. Oh, see, here's the other problem: is the walker needs to be inside of. I need access to the walker. I guess I could create this here and then we'll update it in here. I don't know if it matters that much. Okay, so we give ourselves these. Let's just go grab you. So we'll create our params, then we'll update our params. So we'll just say, okay, params dot destination is now going to be 0.2 from walker dot location. So that gives us her destination. If I don't do anything else, and we just hand you the params here, and I guess I'm going to do the same thing here. Will this still work? It should still be exactly the same. Okay, so I'm seeing the in the top left we have the other walker, and then the random walker is nowhere to be found. That's cool. So that didn't exactly. You don't need to be mutable. Oh, interesting. Okay. I figured it'd need to be mutable as I'm like adding things to it, but I guess not. They might be stacked. You know, you might be right. They might exactly be stacked. So I don't think dest is right then. What is the other ones? So dest, the position to draw the graphic expressed as a 0.2. So offset, an offset from the center for transform operations like scale rotation. So I don't think that's it either. Is params.dest or params.dest? Well, these are... Oh, yeah, that's another good question. Okay, so struct dest is just a 0.2. Okay, so you're right. I think I did that wrong. So dest equals like this. If this works, I'm kind of surprised that it let me do that. Now what? Expected struct mint vector point to found struct in algebra geometry point. So do I need a mint vector point to? Mint vector point to. Okay, so what if I just bring in mint like that? I don't want to have like too many 0.2s around. And so I say mint vector 0.2 from like that. The trait bound mint vector 0.2 is not satisfied. So it doesn't know how to convert from this. So do I need to convert that myself? Oh my gosh, what? I wonder if this is like a way to do it, which is terrible. I'm not gonna actually do this for real. So what if I do point to from walker.location in here? So 2 converts. The trait bound mint vector point to from point f32. Wait a second. Why is point f32 and base dimension z2 is not satisfied? Okay, so it can't handle that either. Okay. So what if I that's the next thing. Okay, so point mint vector point to new. Is this, does this exist? It does. Okay. So then I want in here walker.location.x, walker.location.y. If this, oh, you're not going to work either. Module vector is private. No function or associated item named new. Okay, so you won't let me do that. Can I just do point to new? Mint vector, oh, mint vector with a capital V. You might be right. Okay, so yeah, okay. Let's try that. Failed to resolve, could not find vector in mint. Is there a vector 2? I mean, I could just go to the documentation and take a look at mint. Ambiguous associated type. Oh, okay, so this is going to be an F32, like that. Expected struct mint vector point to found Boolean. What of any of this is a Boolean? Expected type mint vector point to F32 found type bool. Is like new returning a Boolean? Oh, that's so strange. Okay. What? Okay, here's the other real problem. Failed to resolve, could not find point 2 in root. So there is no point 2 off of mint vector 2. So if we take a look at mint, I wonder, actually I should go through here. So mint point 2 F32. How do I find, okay, dependencies, here's mint. You know, I don't know if mint is actually available to us. I didn't actually check. Okay, so mint, oh, it just has fields X and Y. And I don't see a new. Oh, wait. from slice, does that mean it just doesn't care? So if I hand it just like an array slice, like that, is it happy with that? No, okay. Now what if I do mint 0.2 from, what was it, from slice? Yeah, from slice. Oh, I have to create a new one first. Mint 0.2 xy. Okay, so let's try that next. That front do open parentheses. And the next one will be our curly brackets in cases, I think it's a struct. So this one, I don't think it's a function. Found struct. Okay, so curly brackets. Oh, which reminds me, I've not been running with my thing on. I should turn that on so you all can highlight things for me. All right, so now what? Missing fields X and Y. Okay, so perfect. X, Y. All right, we're getting closer. So let's do this here. Mint 0.2. All right, now what? Cannot assign to params.dest. Okay, so now we do have to make this mutable. No errors. All right, let's see if we got this. Okay, so I think this is how we're gonna have to do this. I'm not super happy with this with like this, having to like do this here. So I'm thinking what I want to do is create a I guess this is going to be in each of the walkers, a ability to what is it, return a mint 0.2 type, and then I can just run that. What's interesting though is that if I want to do that, then I want a trait, because I want this to affect both of them, and so a trait might be perfect here. So let's set this up. This is going to be part of the walkers trait. So I'm thinking here in walkers, want a new file, and I think I can just call this like traits .rs. I don't really know what else to call it right now. So is it public traits? Let's see. Public trait, and I'm just sort of like, I forget how to actually make real traits. Okay, so public trait, and then, so I may be completely wrong here. The name for it. This is going to be convert. So convert to, let's just call this to mint 0.2. Is that, No, I think that's going to be the function in here, wouldn't it be? This is more of going to be like public trait walker. I already have something called walker, so it should really be like walker traits. I don't know. Naming these is like, that's like the toughest part. Okay, so now if I have a function in here for walker traits, this is going to be convert to mint point 2. What would this take in? This would, we would take in self, and we're going to return, and so we have to use bb ggez, ggez mint, and I guess that would be like a point 2, like that. Let's just bring in mint, and then I can say, okay, mint 0.2 of f32. I think that's how this would work. And I think also with a trait, I can write the actual implementation of it here too. So then the other thing is, well, we have self. I don't know if I have to like say what type self is going to be. I might have to. And then I want to say, okay, we're going to return a mint 0.2 x is going to be self.location.x. Y is going to be self.location.y. I have no idea if this is going to work, because I might have to like also say, hey, this can only be applied to things that have like a location on it. It's not yelling at me yet, so maybe I just confused it a huge amount. So if I come to random walkers, and down at the bottom, I don't know, so we have implement random walker. What if I implement, oh, I need to bring it in. So let's use, is it the mod that uses it? Oh, let's try this. Use traits. Oh wait, the mod has to say like mod food. Where do these come from? So like, oh wait, not mod food here. Mod walkers does, okay, so I'm gonna have to mod traits, and then in here I can use, is it have to be a crate, or is it traits? So use traits walker traits. Doesn't seem to be very happy about that. A similar path exists, super traits, okay. All right, so it's not completely and totally upset about that. Now if I come down and I implement this, so impl walker traits for random walker, can I just do that on its own and it will implement that? Expected one of, oh no, okay. I think this is how like I run my own. It's not, no, it's upset. No field location on type self. So I have to say what type this is, I think. So what if I say use, I think it's gonna have to be extern crate or use right, because like we don't know what this is. So like use attraction walker, random walker. Each of these has these here, but because we don't know what that is, like they're all different pieces. Out of curiosity, I want to see if I just say that it was the random trait. I think like this would be a pretty big rabbit hole. What I'd have to do if I want the traits to solve, which I do want them eventually because they both, like all of these walkers have to have these things. So having a trait to force that would be really nice. If I say walker traits, like then you also have to have a you have to have a location. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to do that. Like if I say something like F32, I don't think that's the way to do this. So I think I need to look up how to properly do these type of traits and reread that part of the book because it's been years and I haven't really used these. So I need to look up how to properly do traits and then we can move forward with it. So this is totally broken code. It won't run. That's cool. It is running close to my end time, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start putting in what my README is. So add force space walker, we kind of added it, but we need to make it work. So implement trait for, well, I guess maybe not implement trait for this. I could maybe down below. So refactor to use traits for dryness. So that way we're not repeating ourselves over and over and over again. If we come back and I just remove our traits folder, in our mod, we're not bringing that in. We're not worrying about that at all right now. The entire point for this was to be able to scale it up or down. And there was a function that we could use. Scale, which is a mint vector 2. Okay, cool. So we have to bring that in too. We already bring it in mint, so scale. So params dot scale. So this is gonna be a mint equals mint vector 2. And so the x, like how much scale left and right, I think we're going to do this based upon the size, right? So that's going to be the walker.size. Let's run this. I'm not really caring about the attraction walker because it's like not moving anyways. Let's see what this looks like. Oh wait, where was that? Random walker. Right, we don't need to bring in you anymore. And at the very bottom, we don't need you. Okay, so size is private. That'd be a potentially another thing that we can do is grab the size. Ho ho, well, to that did scale it up. This makes me wonder if I should have the size be 1 pixel. So if I were to have the size be 1 pixel when we create it, and then we scale up based upon that. So in a random walker, when we create our mesh, here's our size. If I just set this to be, I think that's an F32, radius F32. If I just say 1.0, then I think it'll be more normal. Yeah, and then it will scale, like grow up and down depending upon whether or not it survives or doesn't. So I think this will work. We probably want to make some functions inside of each of the walkers. That way we properly set, like, do each thing for each of these devices. But yeah, it's shrinking now too, so that's perfect. It's a very subtle shrink. So I'm going to leave that over there. We'll see whether or not it eats anything. In the meantime, let's close all of you down. What do we need to set? Okay, so add a force space walker. We're going to be doing that. Refactor to use traits for dryness. And then I think, well, it's either going to be traits to use dryness. So like refactor to refactor for dry. If you're new programming and you haven't heard of dry before, that's don't repeat yourself. Currently, each of my walkers has like exactly the same code over and over and over again. So we want to like fix that. I couldn't tell. I think it ate something because it's a lot bigger now. So I think we're good again. Of course, it's avoiding eating anything again, so it's hard to tell. So I'm gonna end you there, and then in our GitHub, let's go ahead and add this. Okay, so what did we do today? Making the other walker visible, but besides that, not really much. Right, it doesn't have the ability to eat other walkers yet. Okay, so the full eating thing is working. It's working exactly as we want it to. I saw it both eat poison and the food, and it grew the way we wanted it to. Having to eat the other walkers would be interesting too, so that way they can eat each other. But that will be later. So I'm going to push this up. It must have eaten some poison. So now the chance of it surviving is like almost nothing. All right, so the code that I'm working on today is inside the ecosystem project here. If I switch over to Twitch, and let's just go to my channel. And pause you. Okay, so here's all the code if you want to go and take a look at it. I do have that open source You could look through it. Also, the rest of the nature of code stuff that I have is in there as well. What Who else is there? Is there anybody online? How do I make this? Wish that these weren't so small like that. Pixel Logic Dev is streaming. Oh, and Coding Garden is streaming. So let's do a quick a raid of Coding Garden. So I do have a stand up to go to in like 10 minutes or so, so I have to go get ready for that. Thanks everybody for stopping by. My next planned stream is going to be Friday morning, 6:45 a.m. Mountain Time. I usually tweet out beforehand. I forgot last night. I just sort of collapsed and went to bed right after work. So we're going to continue this and hopefully get the other walker up and running and maybe starting that dryness. So until then, let's go raid CJ at the Coding Garden. He mostly does web development, but I also have worked with him in the past. He's an awesome guy. Let's be really awesome to him. So I'm going to put up my stream ending screen, and then we'll do the raid. So hopefully you're having a great Wednesday so far, and that that this is the perfect kickoff to it, unless of course it's ending. All right, so click raid. Ready to raid in 5 seconds. All right, everyone, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all on Friday. Bye.